Hey everybody, Steve Burns here, week 6. So we're going to actually start designing our website so that it is responsive over several different devices. In other words, it's going to resize so that it's going to have an acceptable or a comfortable view in your desktop, your mobile device like your iPad and your iPhone device. Okay, now I'm inside the live view inside Dreamweaver. Now this is the my site that I started to design, and as you can see, as I slide the slider, my little control slider here to the right, I'm going to move it over. The site actually resizes according to each of those platforms. So you can see right up here, I have my 3 different platforms. So 1200 pixels. This is closer to 800 pixels here, but we'll set it up. We'll custom make it. If I click on each one, you get to see exactly how it's going to be. It's going to be resized, or how it's going to view on the sides for each one of those. All right. These are some default settings up here, but we're gonna custom create our own from scratch. Okay. Let's actually get started. Let's go ahead and just get rid of this one here. I'm going to close everything out up here at the top. And this is going to be, this portion is just kind of a brief little overview and introduction, and then the following videos afterwards you're going to be able to see all of this in detail. All right, now let's go to new file menu, new. Now before I make a new a file, let me just share with you. I have set up a new site, and your site should already be set up, but I put it under Chrome Illusion Responsive. Inside Chrome Illusion Responsive are my images, all right? And inside those folders, I've got my images rollover here, all right? So I get to add about 2 sets of images, one for rollover, one for the standard. And all of my files, HTML files, is going to go inside the Chrome Illusion Responsive folder, okay? All right, now all this is going to make sense in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and create a new document. So, new document, I'm going to keep everything default, okay? I'm going to go ahead and click create. Now I got a standard web page here. Now, what we want to start off with is setting up the web page so that we have well, let me put it this way. We're going to be working from almost a different point of view, a nodal point of view. Now, so far, you've seen a couple of different ways that we can work within Dreamweaver. One is the visual WYSIWYG, which is what you see is what you get. And then, or we can go to our split view and view the code, the HTML code only or in combination with our design view. Now, the third view we're going to start working in is a nodal, Nodal, nodal point of view, right over here under DOM, right there. And you can see these little objects here. Like right now, we're looking at HTML, head, and body. All right. This is all going to make sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a nodal point of view where this works like layers. So images are going to go in here. Certain div tabs are going to go in here, and you can actually arrange them like layers in Photoshop, so that they can respond to one another. All right, so I'm going to get. I'm in my. You can be in. I'm going to get out of split view. I'm going to go to the live view, and design view. Okay, so over to the right up here, we got a code or split or design. If you click it down, you also have a live view. We're going to work with that in just a little bit, but make sure that you're working in design view currently with a brand new file. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put down there a div tab, a division tab. And we're going to go right up here to the top right hand corner with the insert. Now, if these are not here, make sure go to your window menu. They're all listed over here. You can see the DOM, the insert, the properties, and of course my document is visible. So if I go here, I'm going to put a division in there because we're going to place, everything's going to be organized in terms of divisions. It's like the division is it's like a group. Okay, they have a bunch of other things inside that group. So I'm going to go ahead and click the division right there. Now we're going to call this something. In fact, let's go ahead and call this one the banner. So type in banner, and then I'm going to target OK. Okay, So we're gonna need to put something inside. Now currently in the design view, let's get out of design view and let's go into the live view. Go click on the live view, and now we get this highlighted blue, and it's giving you the division name, which is right about there. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna put something inside. So I'm gonna place my cursor inside there. And inside the division, we want to put an image. Now we want to put our banner, right? So the banner. Actually, let's get on over to into Bridge. Okay, so here we're inside my Chrome Illusion Responsive. Right here, let's go ahead and make this a little bit larger. I'll just kind of pull this on over a little bit. There's my TIFF file, which I actually created the site. But I also split them up, right? We already sliced these up. And inside the images folder are, of course, right down here, all of my individual little images here, okay? Let's go ahead and pull this so we can see everything at one time. It's going to make this a little larger. I also have my images rollovers here, which you can see. And then inside the images folder is my banner, which is right there, right? Okay. So the first thing I want to put in there is my banner. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this for a second. And with this highlighted, I'm going to put inside here a different type of an image. I can go ahead and put in the raw image, or I can go right up here where it says HTML. So under the Insert tab, we have the HTML selected. We used the div for that. Now we're going to go to another option. Drop it down. We're going to go down here to Bootstrap Components. That's going to bring up a whole nother list of very cool functionality. One of the functionality that we're interested in is the responsive image default. So if I click that, it's going to ask me, where do I want that image? I want that image nested inside of this division tab. Okay, so I'm going to tag or click on the nest. Okay, now it gives me an image here. Now, a couple of different ways I can get the image. I can go to the hamburger menu here and grab it this way, which is the source. Okay, or I can come right down here. If I click on the image itself, right down here under the properties, and grab the image here this way as well. All right, so I need to go tell it where it's going to be. And I'm going to go over to my folder here, go to my web design folder, and go over to the online 78 and my responsive images, and then right there is my banner. Double click it, and there it is. It gives you that text here by default. Just select it like so and hit delete. Now, why did I choose responsive? Well, watch what's going to happen. We're in live view, right? Okay. See, right over to the right hand side, you see a little slider. It's kind of like a little light gray, thick light gray area box. Click it and we can drag it like so. And if we keep dragging it, look what happens. It's going to resize according to the size of our choices, right? Okay, now by default, it's giving you these choices up here, right? So you've got the 576. I think I was going to choose 500, 800, and 1200, but the Bootstrap has allowed us to it puts some default settings here. I think that will work just fine. If you want to do your own by custom, like I've got 1200 there, but I'm going to want something like 800, right? So that's going to be somewhere in here, right? So I'm going to bring this on over. Right up here, you see right below this little symbol, this filter related file symbols. See this little plus. If I click that little plus, you can set up a brand new one, right? You can customize it. So you can put in 800, 200, 300, whatever you want, and it's going to set these up accordingly, okay? I'll keep it like this for now, since this is just going to be a quick little overview. All right, so if I click on any one of these, it just jumps to that, right? It just jumps automatically. Or I can take the slider and just manually slide it on through like so. And that's the same thing up here. These are my custom options right here at the top, okay? All right, now I want to add the navigational bar. So I'm going to add another division tab. We will come right over to Insert. We'll go back to HTML. We will add another division tab. Okay. And let's undo that real quick. All right, so I want to make sure this is targeted. I'm targeting this image directly. Now I've got the images targeted here. So if I add on another division tab, right there, by clicking on it on the right hand side, it's going to ask me what do I want to do with this one. Do I want this one nested inside, wrap it around, after? No, we want it after, right? So click on it and it pops up right after. And inside here, we want another one of those images that's going to resize, right? So that means instead of the HTML option, we want to go to Bootstrap options, and we want to go to our responsive image default once again. So select it, and we want to nest it inside that division. So I'm going to click it. We will come over here. Again, we'll try it this way now. We'll go to the hamburger menu. We'll go to the source, right? And this time we will go look for our navigational bar, which is there. So I have everything in icon view or not icon view, but the view where I can see the images. If I come right up to here, I can go to the extra large icons. Then that way it's easy for me to see everything, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and double click it, bring in, there's our navigational bar. It's a Bootstrap image, okay? All right, so now if I test this out, see, they both resize. Isn't that great? Real fun stuff. All right, now we have our now on the page. In fact, if I go, I'm going to go back and get let's go back and get Bridge real quick. So that if we go back, let's go to my Chrome Illusion response. If we can take a look at our document here, all right? Let's bring this on over so we can see a larger view of this, okay? All right, so looking at the document, I need to bring in all the individual images, or the galleries here, thumbnails I should say, that we had actually cut out, using our slicing command in Photoshop, right? So we've already sliced them up. The images are waiting in the folder. We've already seen that. Now we're going to bring those on there next. Okay. I got this content here that says it's text and content for division goes here. Just delete that, and we're going to make another division tab. Now keep in mind, look over here in your Nodal View, right? We've got our banner. If I click on it physically, it highlights. I have right down here another division tab there, and I need to rename that one because that's going to be on my Nav Bar, right? So to rename it inside the document here, hit the little plus symbol, and then it says image fluid, but we're going to rename it. We're going to call it Nav Bar, right? So let's go here and get this right. Class ID is what you want. NAV BAR, okay? And hit enter. Cool. Right, not quite sure why that did that, but I'm going to undo that for a second. All right, so it's a fluid image. I'm going to drop this down here. And I'm taking I want the alt. Now this is my, it shouldn't really say placeholder. So I'm going to call it Nav Bar. And that's my alt text, okay? I'm going to hit the plus symbol here. It's the class ID. So let's go ahead and just give this Nav Bar once again. I'm going to go grab this one here. There we go. That works just fine. Now let's go down to the next one. With this one targeted, you can see here, here's my division tab. There's my fluid Nav Bar, right? And what I want to do next is add another division. Come up to HTML. Options right here, add another division, and we want it afterwards, right? So go after, there we go. And inside here, we're going to call this one, actually we're going to call this one, under the ID class, we're going to call this one, let's say Gallery 1, we'll say gallery group 1. So the whole group is going to go inside here. Now, let's add in our image. This time I'm adding a regular image. I'm going to stay inside of HTML this time. Now, before we were going to Bootstrap, right? Let's stay inside of HTML, hit the image menu, and we're going to nest it inside here. Okay? This is going to go to our images folder. We'll come down here. We want gallery 1. Double click it, and there it is. I want to get rid of all this. Okay? We need to get gallery 2 now. So I'm going to go target the image again. And it's going to go after that one. Hold on, let me just check something out here. So I may have did something I didn't want to do. I'm going to undo that one. I want to keep it nested inside. Okay, so with that image targeted, image, click on the image, nested inside, go to gallery 2, there. With this image targeted, click image again, nest it inside, gallery 3, with that image inside, nest it inside once again, hit the image, nest it inside, and gallery 4. So you see where we're going with this? So I just brought them all in, okay? So when I resize it, you get to see them all change. Now, this is what happens if you don't, have them all resize, right? On your various platforms. Now let me undo these and just kind of show you another option. Once we're inside here, let's go to the Bootstrap options and see what it does. So components, and I'm going to go over to responsive image, right? We're going to nest it inside, and we'll go to the hamburger menu, and we're going to go grab that gallery 1, okay? We're going to highlight this one again, Bootstrap image, responsive, nested inside, and then we will go ahead and grab the image again, and let's go select gallery 2, okay? And we're going to do a couple more times. So with that one targeted, go to my responsive image default with the nesting, target the image itself. Let's go grab it, gallery 3, and with it targeted again, we are going to go and do another responsive nesting, target the actual placeholder, go to the hamburger menu, click the folder, and we will go get gallery 4, okay? All right, so get rid of all this content. I don't need it. The text itself. So grab that and do it that way. Okay, now if I start to use this, you can see it's kind of doing the same thing. See what's happening is you start to squish over so that you can see both ways of doing it, right? So it keeps it whole until it gets down to the cell phone where the cell phone's too tiny, and then it resizes it down. So keep in mind that for this type of a design, if this is what you're going to use, you're probably going to want to design your icons so that they're not designed with all the black all around it. You may want to design it so they're PNGs so that they're all going to be exactly the same width and height if they're going to be thumbnails with transparency behind them, right? And then that way you can bring them in, and they're not going to have this strange little look. Where this one's going to be a little bit bigger because of the way it's set up on your web page and the desktop view. All right. Well, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Now, if for some reason, by default, you may not always see the option to bring in your Bootstrap here. If I make a new document, I'll show you what I'm talking about. File menu, new, HTML, click create. Now, by default, this icon is turned off. So your Bootstrap options you won't see. But if you go over to the left-hand side and see little icons going down vertically from the left-hand side of your menu, go down to the fourth one, and that's your toggle visual media query bar. Okay, so your media query bar, which is this little section up here. Okay, where if you want to set up like your own personal choices in viewing, I can start with maybe 1200 pixels and click OK. All right. Now it's going to ask about a CSS file. You can create a brand new CSS file, cascading style sheets. We're going to get more into that later. So for now, choose a name. I'm going to call this one main 5. All right, because I've already named it main 3 and 4, just playing around earlier. And then we're going to click OK. Now, what you're going to see, in fact, here, let me put main 5 without a space. And what's going to happen is you're going to see this highlighted red here. It's not going to allow you to create a new file because you have to save it first. Okay, to save it, click the browse on the right hand side, and it's going to save style as. Save it in the root of your HTML. Okay, so I'm inside the responsive, and if I go down here, I'm going to go ahead and call this one. You can see the other options I had down here playing around with earlier. This one's going to be called main 5. So main number 5, and click save. Once you do that, then you can click OK, and that's going to be the CSS style that's going to be applied to all these pages. So cascading style sheets allow you to set up font color, font styles, background colors, so that instead of you having to redefine those for every single page that you create, you just simply create that one style, apply it to all your pages, and it's done. All right. We'll be getting more into this as you watch the other videos. But once again, this is just kind of a little bit of an overview. Okay. As you can see here, the 1200 shows up. Say I want one for the iPad. Click that little plus right there, and target 800 for max width, and then click OK. And you see another one pops up, 800. 800 there, 1200 there. I want to do one for the phone. We'll say 500. And then we will go OK, and it pops up there. See? All right. So then you can click on it, and that's where your your query slider is going to slide to. It's going to say that that's your max width. Okay? Or you can just, slide it on back and forth. So if we go back to my other page here, where it already set something up for me, I can also do my custom, right? I can come over here and hit the plus symbol and say, okay, 1200 as well. And click OK. Now, once I do that, it's going to ask me, well, what CSS style do you want to use? Do you want to make a new one? Nope. Just hit browse, go to the root of the page, which I'm already there, and then get my main 5, right? I got the main, there's the main 5 right there. So click it and click OK. You're ready to go. Okay. So then it sets it up for 1200. You can do another one. Click it. And let's say this one will be 600. Click OK. All right. And it sets them up all up here. Okay. All right. So just giving you kind of a little bit of an overview as to what you have to look forward to. So watch the rest of the videos, which is going to go into a lot more detail. And then I also designed each of these thumbnails so that each one is exactly the same size, with transparency behind them. They were exported as PNGs so that the transparency will view the natural black background of the page as well. So keep in mind that's my main change for this tutorial for my personal page. Okay. All right. So then enjoy the rest of the tutorials. I think they'll be informative. I thought that this was important to record before the rest, so that we can. So it kind of gives you a nice little overview for getting things set up.